Hey y'all, it's Taryn. It is Friday, November 21st. Welcome. Today is my baby's birthday. They will be 27 tonight. All the fun started at 9:30 p.m. So that was when Addison was born and she was the first. Anyway, it's hard to believe they're 27. How did that even happen? But here we are. Wyatt and his girlfriend are going to a hockey game tonight, but the others will be over to the house for dinner. So here in a little bit, I have to go cook. When Addison went to the doctor on Tuesday, he told her that she was dilated somewhere between 1.5 and 2, and that she was 60% effaced. So we are in the it could be any time phase. I tried to get her to have the baby today on Karsten's birthday. That's what I told her. You know, why not? Why not have the baby on your own birthday? But she said no. I have to tell y'all, I know I said in my last video that we helped them move. That was last week on Saturday. It is Friday. Today is the first day that my calves don't hurt. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous. If anybody wants to move from an upper floor apartment anymore, they got to hire movers. That's no fun. I can't deal with that. So, what I have stitched on, I worked on fancy plaquettes. And here is where we are. I finished this part up here on this side and then came down and worked on her a little bit. I only had a little bit of her dress done. Every time I thought I was getting somewhere, there was another wider row on that dress. We got to be getting close. At some point, it's got to end here. But anyway, that's where we are. It's on a piece of fabric that I dyed. I worked on Santa's Magic from Mirabilia. There's how it should look. I bought my pattern off of eBay, and it did not have the picture with it. So that's the best I can do. It's been really difficult to find a picture. So here we are. It's like, that does not look right. And I should know better because I really do try to keep my needle minder up towards the top of the pattern. So here we are. I only have a little bit down here right in this area of Kreinik to be done with what I'm going to do for now on this page. There's a lot of empty spaces for beads. And then this is where his beard is. I will move up and do his face. There you go, Shelley. I'm going to get to the face. On Wednesday, Dax and I, was it Wednesday? No, it was Tuesday. We did totally out of the ordinary for us. We went to a talk that the Lions Club was sponsoring. They've decided once a quarter, instead of their regular meeting, they're going to do one of these kinds of things. This time it was the Body Farm, and you're not supposed to call it that because, it has a big long acronym. FACS is the one for Texas State. The TS in FACS stands for Texas State. It's forensic anthropology, something, I don't know. It's where they have bodies that they leave outside in conditions, buried, not buried, in trunks of cars. You know, they do fire scenarios out there for the fire department to practice and body recovery, and they study it, and which is why they call it the body farm. But anyway, we went to a talk that they were doing at the community center, and it was interesting. There's they do a lot of stuff and help in a lot of different areas. And I'm not thinking about going to school and having a career change, that's for sure. I don't want to study decomposition at all. But it was interesting to listen to, and it was totally out of character for the kinds of things we do. So it was interesting. I also worked on the Alamo. This one's on my list of 20. So's the Santa's Magic is also in my list of 20. So here is where I'm at. And this, all of that is, yes, I'm over in this area right here. That's what I'm doing. I did fill in some little missing stitches that were up in here. Maybe up in here, somewhere in there. And then I filled in a lot that is kind of an ecru color. It's basically the same color as this, so it's really hard to tell what I did. But I also brought, I think this was only to about right here, so I brought that out farther and started putting in this window. So there you go. Thankfully, when I work on these, I really feel like, I wish I could have gotten more done. I'm liking it. I worked on my October sweet stitching. And here we are. She's so cute. I forgot to put little pink cheeks on the cat. They're hard to tell on the pumpkin. The ghost will have them too, but I forgot on the cat. I just stitched all the way across, and I'm not undoing it. So there you go. With any luck, I'll get October's done before the end of November. But I did start November's. And got this much done. This white right here is part of, there's a moon. But I was happy with that first start. Maybe we'll, I don't want to get too full of myself, but you know, maybe I could get some more of that done. I did get, I don't think I showed y'all, because I usually try to put it away. I'm sorry. December's came in, and it's super cute. How cute is that? I love it. And it came with lots of goodies, so based on the rate that I'm going, I might as well eat them. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to make a ton of noise. I told you about that I ordered the kit and it came in. This is the one I ordered because Addison is doing Hallie's room with ballerina bunnies, and that's what this one is called, Ballerina Bunny. And it's a full kit. It's got the frame in there and everything. I think the frame is actually metal, but maybe not. And then this is the other one that came with it. So it's cute too. I don't know if I'll use that frame or anything like that, but I've got it if I want to. Well, I'm working on some mittens, because I signed up for this little quick projects for 5 weeks. This is the 3-hour mittens. The thing started on Monday. It's Friday. I'll show you. Here's the mittens. I'll show you where I'm at. I have one cuff done. I haven't even taken it and made it round and sewn it into a cuff. I'm not sure which way it goes. They're made to fold over. They're very long cuffs. I do believe they'll go this way, and then you can fold them over. But I've got one done. I'm killing it. I was working on them last night, and it was like I had, because they're supposed to be 13 across, I would work across on this row, and it'd count, and it'd be 11. I'd work across, and it'd be 12. I'd work across, and it would be 10. And I kept pulling it back out, and finally I was just like, I'm going to bed. I'm done. We'll start again in the morning. And I did get that one finished. That's the one I finished. Here, I've started the other one. I've got this much done on the other one. So I didn't give up. They're supposed to only take 3 hours. It's going to take me 3 hours to get through these cuffs at the rate I'm going, but we shall persist. We shall persevere. Trying to think of anything else. I don't think there's been anything else exciting this week. Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, and somebody was pointing out in another video that we're supposed to show our shirts if they have writing on it, and I don't know that I do that very often, if ever. So here's mine. It says, "Please be patient with me. I'm from the 1900s." So it's true. It's true. Sometimes I need more patience than others, or people dealing with me need more patience than others. But okay, that is all I have for now. And hopefully I won't wait a whole week to come back, but we all know how that is. All right, see you in a few. I'm back. It is Saturday, November 22nd. Jeez Louise, I kept starting to say December, and I hope not, because I haven't done any Christmas shopping. Anyway, it's November 22nd, and it's Saturday. And I've worked on a few things since yesterday, which is crazy, I know. I did work on this yesterday, Paula Vaughn's Quilts for All Season. I didn't show it to you yesterday because I still had it in the hoop, hoping to work on it some more, which I did not. I do that all the time. I always have grand ideas, and then I don't come back out here and work on it. But it's November's, and I'll be working on that one on Fridays for the month of November. And here we are. I finished getting all of the red filled in, got my greens done. This is almost the edge of the quilt over here. So, and then filled in some different colors. So, reds and greens and creams, tans, I don't know. Something like that. I really like those, and I would really like to work on it more. I'm putting it over here in its project bag because of all of the floss that's involved. This is its project bag. Cute little pigs. So, anyway. I worked on Hallie's birth announcement. Addison did not have the baby yesterday like I told her to, so I lost in the betting pool. There goes my $20. So I worked on this one this morning. And here we are. Let's move this out of the way. It's a little distracting. Okay. There we go. I filled in more over here and across the bottom here, and then I did a little bit of back stitching, as you can see, up here and here and around the drawer and the drawer pull. In the picture, that has the name, but I'm not going to put the name down here or the date or new baby up there. I'm going to chart out that information to go up there. In the date, part of that is because instead of 3501, it looks like March 50th of 01. And so I just decided, you know what? I don't want that. So anyway, it is coming along. I'm pleased. So that's really all that matters, right? As long as I'm pleased. And then I've worked on this one, my October sweet stitching. And I finished up the white on the ghost and put in the little orange. I have pink cheeks and then pink stripes on his little hat. And then he needs legs and the black and the jack-o'-lantern that goes in there. But that white, that was a lot of white. Anyway, that's really the bulk of the big stitching. All that really I have left is to finish his hat, get the bat, and these little confettis. We're going to call them confettis that are scattered around. And then the back stitching. So, and I have his legs and feet, but that's not a bunch either. So I'm hoping that maybe with a little luck I can get this done tomorrow. We're getting ready to, the girls are gone. They went over to Wyatt's. They just left a few minutes ago. He's doing Friendsgiving over at their place. Yesterday for their birthday, poor Ryan was tired and grouchy, which is absolutely unlike him. He's one of the happiest kids, but he was he was not having much of it. I mean, he wasn't being mean. He wasn't crying a lot, but he was a little bit grouchy. But Addison said that he slept until like 9:30 this morning. She sent me a picture. He seems in a much happier mood. I would show it to you, but I don't know if I showed this a while ago. I dropped my phone on Monday. You can see all the cracks in my screen. I do not have a screen protector on here. I thought I did. These lines right here, I've got packing tape on it because down here it is just shattered and little shards of glass were coming out if I tried to swipe on my screen. Dax is like, I guess we've got to go buy new phones now, which we've had these phones for 7 years, 8 years, something like that, probably. I don't know. I was like, no, we don't. I don't like buying phones. I don't like buying phones, appliances, cars, mattresses. If I'm going to buy something, I like to be able to compare one thing to another. And on purpose, they make these things so that there's one little difference, and it's just not worth it. Anyway, all of that to say, she sent me a picture this morning when he was having breakfast, and he looks well rested and much happier. He has been getting up at about 6:30 in the morning, so he slept in. But after a 3-day stomach virus, he probably, and then having to go, get up and go to school and all of that, he probably just really needed the rest. I did work on my little mittens. I'm not going to be 3 hours and done. I did finish up the cuff. I haven't woven in my ends. Basically, the cuff folds down like this, and then I've started. You're supposed to use a really chunky yarn. Hold on, I don't want to lose my stitch. You're supposed to use a really chunky yarn, and I didn't want to go and buy anything to do these. So I'm using 2 strands of this yarn that I already had. I think I just pulled my stitch out anyway. I did. Ugh. So I just put these 2 strands together. They're gonna, see, you can see the holes in between, but the truth of the matter is it doesn't get cold enough around here really to need mittens, so who knows why I'm actually doing this. I'm doing it because, just because, so I have worked on this. I think that's everything. Dax and I are going to go hang out at the cigar lounge. Neither one of us smokes cigars. Dax smokes a pipe. Not a lot, but we'll go and sit and talk to the other people there and hang out, and it's just relaxing. Have a couple beers. It'll be all good. So we're going to do that because we don't have anything else pressing. We took care of our pressing things to be done. We did our chores this morning, so for now we're all good, and we don't have anything we have to do or any place we have to be, so we're just going to go relax. So I'll see you again in a second. Hopefully it'll just be tomorrow. All right. Hey y'all, it's Taryn. It is Saturday, December 20th. I don't think I've recorded since before Thanksgiving. It's been crazy, to say the least, and I've been lazy. Somebody ran out into the garage when he wasn't supposed to. He's not supposed to be out here. I don't know if you can hear him purring or not. This is Bartholomew, the troublemaker. He's a very needy kitty, but he is a troublemaker. If something gets broken or somebody's gotten into something, that's it. That's who it is. So, anyway, I am not going to be able to get through everything that I have to get through right now because I don't have that much time to record. I've got to go pick up my grocery order and all of that fun stuff. But I'll show what I can. First and foremost, Addison went for a membrane sweep on December 2nd. If you're new here, Addison's my daughter, pregnant with baby number 2. And on December 3rd, we got Hallie. Little Miss Hallie is here. Addison, I had texted her on Wednesday morning to see what was going on. Because the night before we had been over to get Ryan's car seat in our car and pick up a house key and all of that so that we could watch him. And so it was around 7 or 7:30 on Wednesday morning. I texted her because she'd had a few contractions the night before. And then they had quit. And so she said, nothing really. She had one during the night that woke her up, but nothing really. He won't quit meowing because he's out of his element and doesn't like it, but at the same time, it's his own fault. So anyway, so then she called me at about 8. Yeah, I guess it was around there. I don't know. I probably have my times off. But I hadn't woken Dax up yet. So, and she said, can y'all go ahead and come now? And she's like, no hurry. They just want me to come in and everything. But the hospital and the doctor are an hour away. And I said, yes, it's going to take a minute because your dad's not even awake yet. I've got to go wake him up. So I got him up. We packed bags just in case. We got to her house. She lives 30 minutes or so from us around 9:30. She was having a contraction when we got there. She's like, they've changed, and was trying to breathe through it. And y'all, this is a hard part about being a parent because her husband was there rubbing her back and doing all of the things he's supposed to do. And as her mother, I wanted to shove him out of the way and let me take care of my baby. But we can't do that. Keeping my mouth shut is hard for me. Letting them be a family who has their own rules is hard for me, but I'm working on it. I do try not to give my opinion unless it's asked for. So anyway, they left as soon as her contraction finished and headed to the hospital. They got there about 10:30 when she was in triage, and they were doing all the things, blood pressure, and asking her how far apart they were. She kept telling them, I need to push. And they kept telling her, no, don't push yet. We're not ready. It's not time. They finally got her into her room, and she pushed 2 times, and Hallie was born at 11:28 a.m. She was at the hospital barely an hour. So I told her, when baby number 3, when it's time and you're getting close, you see that, because she likes this doctor and she liked this hospital. I said, you see that hotel right there? That's where you will go stay. You don't want to be having this baby in the car. And she says, of course, she does not. But baby got here safely. Because her labor was not long, she felt wonderful after it. She was not thrilled that she did not have time for the epidural. The nurse said, do you want me to be nice or do you want me to be honest? And she's like, I want you to be honest. And she's like, yeah, you're not getting one. She said, I could be nice and tell you that, oh yeah, they're on their way, but you're not getting one. So anyway, all's good. And she has felt like she was recovering from this one much more quickly. I thought this picture was adorable. When we took Ryan up there, we said, do you want to go see your baby sister? Do you want to see the baby? And as we were walking in the room, he was saying, no baby, no baby. But here he is. They took a picture, and it's in the playroom at home. That's his smile face. That's his saying cheese. So that's a happy face. He was really excited to take the picture with her holding her hand, and he keeps trying to hand her toys. He'll undo her hand and try to put the ball in it. So he's better. He's gotten over the no baby. So everybody's all good, and we are thrilled, and she seems to be just as sweet a baby as he was. He's still a sweet little kid. Okay, I have done stitching. I worked on my graveyard Halloween. Here is where we are now. I think this last time I worked on it, I worked on somewhere right in here is a page break. I worked on getting this farther down. Pretty much that's all I did. There are mistakes, and we're okay with that. We're going to be okay with that. He's under my chair now, I think. I worked on from Homespun Elegance, Marry to You. notes to me on fabric sizes. But this is, I'm working on this one, but I will probably will put the snowman up at the top like that. I haven't decided for sure because I'm way down here, but I might just do it like that and cut it out like a stocking. But I'm doing mine on 18 count, so it's going to be teeny tiny. And when I started, I had, I think, these 3 red stripes in this part of the heel right here. So I put in this one, I did the toe, you know, came up and started on the initials on the alphabet. So I got in YZ. That's been pretty fun. I'm doing, actually, I don't know what I'm doing because this color right here, I'm using DMC. This is, the red is DMC 115, I think. Oh, nope, 75. I'm a liar. So it's DMC 75. It's a variegated floss. A variegated red. It goes kind of from bright to dark. You can see the darker better down there. And then this one is supposed to be a blend. And I just had a little piece of that wound up in my bag, in my fancy project bag. So I don't actually know. I've used all of that piece, but it's not a blend. So I'm hoping that I'm just using one of the DMC colors and going with that. I haven't compared yet. So yeah, I don't, good for me. I made notes on fabric size, but not on what I was doing there. So of course not. I'm sorry if you can hear that Dax is mowing. I apologize. I don't even know if I already said that. Out of Celebrations to Cross Stitch and Craft, I'm working on this white Santa. It's called White Christmas. I call it White Santa. And I have gotten this far. This one's on my list of 20. And actually, I'm hoping that in 2026, it's on my short list to finish. I've looked at some of those and I really should be able to get some finished. Addison should not be pregnant and having a baby where I have to add in other things. So she won't be ready. Anyway, I just worked on filling in and through here at the page break. So another fancy project bag. Here, I didn't show the one that's actually in a nice project bag. And this is, this was a year of blocks that I did forever ago, embroidered, and then the block of the month came with these fabrics. I added to it to make it the size I wanted for a project bag. He's standing on a tub over there, looking under the curtains, just a little bit of his head. Okay, I've got to stop now. That was even faster than I expected it to be. Hopefully, I can come back a little later today, but for now, I have to go tell Dax it's time for him to quit because he wants to watch football, and that starts at noon. And I've got to run to the store and pick up my order, which is ready at noon. Anyway, hopefully I'll be back in just a second for you. Okay, back from the store. Bartholomew is back inside. So let's continue for a little bit. Might have to take a break again. Anyway, Paula Vaughn, Quilts for All Seasons. I'm doing all of these if you're new here. This time I worked on, well, since last time you've seen me, I have worked on the May quilt. Does it look nice? There we go. And it's comes up if I spin on what I'm going to work on for Stitch Mania. Stitch Mania is one of my options of what I'm going to work on, and then I'll spin a wheel that has all my Stitch Mania stuff in it. So here is where I've gotten to. I don't know why May has been such a struggle. I discovered this time I've already had to rip out stuff up in here. You can kind of still see the ghosting of it. And this time, working my way down in one of these colors, I realized that I am off on all of this. I've pulled some of it out, but all of this down here has to come out too. That's like down here at the bottom. It's part of that. So, got to take all of that out. Frustrating, to say the least. I have also worked on November's quilts. Well, I guess, yeah. I think this is one of the most popular ones in here. I do love it. In November, I did have time to get more done. So, I'm pretty pleased with that. I had a couple of days in November where I got to just stitch longer than what I usually get to. I work on these quilts on Friday mornings, so I don't always get to stitch very much. And then, of course, now I am working on December's quilt. Dina at Sit Stay Stitch recently finished this one for a friend of hers. Here is where I am. Last Friday, I did not work on it at all because I'm trying to think, was it last Friday? It was a Friday before, maybe. Friday before, because we were still taking care of Ryan, Addison, and Hallie, and Jacob were not home from the hospital yet. They came home on Friday afternoon, but I didn't want to take anything this complicated with me to try to work on while I was there. Sorry, getting it back in its bag. And I spent a lot of the time that we were there trying to help them unpack a little bit more, because they moved a couple of weeks before that from their third floor apartment, which I've whined about already, into a house. And when you're that pregnant, you don't really care to be doing a lot of unpacking. They'd unpacked the essentials and that stuff, but I did what I felt like I could, right? And not be intrusive, or I don't know where you want things. But I also, their floor is, it's vinyl flooring, but it's designed to look like wood plank flooring. And it's kind of a light gray, but whenever they put the floor in, the house is brand new. Whoever laid the floor just left, they kind of wiped it, but anytime any dirt touched any of the glue, it left these marks all over the floor. So I spent a lot of time with a scrub brush scrubbing the glue off and getting the floor all clean and decent looking. And, washing all of the sheets and everything for the baby to come home, for the bassinet and all of that kind of stuff. So there wasn't a lot of time for stitching anyway, but I did stitch every day. A little bit anyway. I worked on Spring Bunny Love. This is a free pattern from Snowflower Diaries. And I'm just using it on, using a scrap piece of Ada to put it on. It's going to have pretty narrow margins. We'll have to see what the flowers around. I don't have any concerns about these, but I don't know if these will fit. And if there isn't room, then that's fine too. I'm just going to make it into a pillow anyway, so it'll be not a problem. Since I've worked on this one a couple of times, I believe, I've put in all of her, his ears, and like from here down on him. So it's coming right along. It's in a fancy project bag. These project bags come in bulk at Sam's. So that's all good. I didn't obviously pull any of these out of the bags like I usually try to do, so I apologize for that. Out of Your Welcome, I am working on this one. This might be a better picture. And I'm doing this on a piece of 18 count fabric that I dyed. And we're at this time I finished the O and came over and started little pieces of the C because I just still had that color on my needle. So there we go. Getting there very little bit at a time. Fancy bag. This one I started and should have finished, but I didn't have time. Out of Cross Stitch and Country Crafts, January, February of 1993. I am doing this one. Oh, can you see it? This one right here. These are teeny tiny. As you can see, obviously, they use them as button covers. All I got done on it was the heart. But I'm doing it 1/1 on, obviously, a tiny little piece of scrap. I don't know. It's a very small count, whatever it is. And then we'll see what I do with it when I'm done. But, oh, sorry. Fancy bag. 1/1 on stuff like that is very hard. I go very slow. It's very slow for me. Then I had a new start because goodness knows I need more whips. For the Love of Cross Stitch, September of 2018. My goodness, this is practically new in my world. I'm actually working on this one right here. And I don't know what fabric it's on or anything like that. I like to buy fabric scraps on eBay where they just have a bunch of them and who knows what I'm getting. But it should all fit on here. We'll see. Anyway, just a little tiny start. I started in the middle. It should fit on here, but since I'm not, 1,000,000% positive, I started in the middle instead of at an edge. Another fancy bag. Do y'all love it when I show my project bags? We'll skip to this real quick because it's right there. Holly's stocking. I changed this from First Christmas because I'm not going to have a stocking done for Second Christmas. So I changed this to just say Merry Christmas. That kind of slowed me down a little bit because I just kept putting it off, charting any of that. But here we are. I got it all done. Now I need to cut it out and sew it up. I got to pick some fabrics. So that's on my list of things to do. That's why it's sitting over here waiting for me. What else? What else? I mean, I stitched on plenty more things. I just wanted to make sure there isn't something sitting that I need to not forget about. Fancy bag. From Stacy Nash Primitives, December 25th. And here we are. I think before I had part of the tree. Yeah, just down here at the bottom. And Christmas, I think, is what I had. So this time I got the tree done and started on the snowman. And I'm not sure that I'm using any of the called for. I may just be grabbing colors. I've got that variegated DMC in here. I don't know if it's the same one or not. This one is 115. This is the one that I thought the other one was, because I said 75. I said 115 and it was 75, I think. Out of my the Sweet Stitching Club, this is November's. I do believe I've worked on it a little bit more. It's like, is that right? Like getting the fence in and maybe some more of this up in here. I don't really know. And then this is December's. Look how cute that is. These are really, have all been really, really cute. So there you go. There's my big start. Got a pin because that's the top. I just wanted to get it. It was on my list to start. So there we are. I'm pretty sure that I showed you October's finished. But in case I didn't, there you go. That's what happens when you wait over a month. Anyway, once I get everything finished from this series, again, another fancy bag. I have them all in this bag. Once I get all of these finished, I'm going to take all of them and do a giveaway. This is what January's came in. It's pretty stinking cute also. But like I said, I'll take all of the patterns, put them together, and do a giveaway. I worked on, this is out of my list of 20, I think, believe, buttons and beads from Mill Hill. I'm doing mine on fabric. Yeah, somebody didn't think of margins. I don't know who that somebody is, but she messes up things a lot. On this one, all of this has to come out because there's like a whole row of some of this that's been missed. Obviously, I did not work more on taking that out, but I worked more on up and through here, and I think I did some filling in here. That's all part of his bag. Right in there. This one also, I feel like, needs to be on my short list to actually get it done next year. The threads came, if you know these kits, like the beads come all in one or two bags, all mixed together, and the threads were all obviously mixed together. And some of them are so close in color, it's really hard to tell the difference. So things like this are in here because I have pulled the DMCs. You can see the skeins to use those to work with instead of trying to figure out and it getting the colors wrong. I lay them on the DMC if I think I might be able to figure it out. And some of them I have, and I'll go ahead and use the kit ones for that. But I've had to pull the DMC to figure out what goes where. I had another new start. I know, I need them. And this is even better because it's a full coverage new start called Cowboy. I started it in the upper left-hand corner. So there you go. Pretty impressive. No, I guess when I'm stitching, that's the right, I guess. So I've only even pulled a few colors that are in this one. This is just what I happen to have on hand. Again, another fancy bag, because it's way down the list of stuff that's going to get worked on a regular basis. When I finish, as I finish projects, I look. In this book, I have most of my projects. It needs to be updated, but flosses that they would still need. And when I finish, as you can see, I mark them off. See, here are ones that are farther along the list. As I finish stuff, I take it and I take those threads and see if they'll go in any of those and mark them off, and on and on. So if you're farther down the line, I don't feel like I need to fully kit it. I don't know if I talked about this when I was doing stuff before. So if I didn't, here we go. Summer Welcome. I did the fall one. Half of it I did twice because I realized that when I got up to the close to the top, there was not enough room. And this one, I haven't gotten very much done. This is a pale blue fabric that I was doing something, maybe cleaning. I mean, like I was cleaning silverware or pennies or something, and it made the solution a really pretty blue. So I grabbed some fabric and dipped it in there. It didn't soak it in as much as I wanted it to, but it did kind of make it get a little bit darker as it goes out to the edge. So that was fine. Anyway, obviously I worked on the watermelon in the middle. I got all the seeds in. I didn't have any of those in. I think there might have been just, I think the green here was all that was there. And so working around that. Okay, these, I've got more in my bag here, but I don't remember if I've shown them to you or not. So I'll have to look. I'm going to look at what I already have on prior recordings before I carry on. I know that I had talked before about doing the Make and Do Crew crochet thing that were quick, and I started the mittens and I hated them, so I quit and I've ripped them out. I'm going to try them again with a smaller hook. I'm sorry, I don't know if I have something in my eye right now or not. Yesterday I did, and it got stuck up under my eyelid and it scratched it pretty good, so I don't know if I have something in there again or if it's because I scratched my eye and eyelid up. So it's driving me crazy. Anyway, I'm going to try the mittens with the same yarn, but using a smaller needle. It's going to make smaller mittens, but I'm just doing this for fun, so it doesn't really matter. And see if that'll work. I would have already started, but I couldn't find them. But I did do the next week's, which is this cute little stocking. Now, again, the stocking they made with a chunky yarn, and I didn't want to go buy anything. I had this. I had both of these here. So I got just the needle size that was appropriate for this yarn, because they use chunky yarn in a bigger needle hook, a bigger hook. Their stockings like this big, but once again, I don't care if it's smaller because it's just for fun. I need to put something up here to hang it with, but I thought it turned out pretty cute. So there we go. There's that. I'm working on currently, I'm gonna make sure I don't pull it out. It's a, it'll be a Christmas tree, right? You can stuff it. I'm trying to just randomly add little silver beads. Like, I'm not a fancy person. I do not have, I don't have fancy stitch markers. This was close. This one's a pen with a cat on it, but this was close at hand, so it is marking, and it's fine with me. Anyway, I haven't decided how big I'm going to make it. You can either take it and put, I'll try to see if I can make it not look so phallic. You can put a styrofoam cone in here, or you can stuff it. I don't know how big I'm going to make it, how much longer I'm going to continue with it. I don't know. But that's what I'm playing around with at the moment. Okay, I'm going to stop for now. Probably go have lunch. Need to make some banana bread. I have some bananas that nobody's going to eat, so I might as well make banana bread with them. But I didn't have any eggs, so I had to go to the grocery store first. Now I do. So I may do that before I come back. But I will check out the other and then be back in a little bit. Okay, thanks, y'all. Okay, I'm just jumping in real quick because I am ending the video at whatever the last thing was here, I guess, because otherwise it's probably going to be like another month before I could get this all uploaded. So I'm going to squish everything together and get it uploaded. Hopefully today. It is December 30th. And then we'll start over. I still have a ton of stuff to show y'all that I haven't and all of that good stuff. But we'll do that later. We're getting ready to go on vacation, Dax and I. And I'll try to record and post those little snippets while we're on vacation. But for anything that's really long, I need to be able to do it here instead of at the house. So here we are. I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. I hope you've had a wonderful holiday season. And it'll probably be after the 1st before I see you again. So Happy New Year too. All right. Thanks also for liking, subscribing. I love your comments, all of the things. And yeah, I'll see you soon.